Square Enix and Wizards may be doing more collaboration in the future after the release of the Final Fantasy Universe's Beyond set. Gavin Verhey revealed in a recent interview with Rebecca Shepard to GameSpot that these plans have been percolating for a while and that SE is open to continuing the relationship. Probably the most exciting thing in the article is just how often the partnering company to Universes Beyond has an avid Magic player base already at the company that is excited to work on the collaboration. Being that there is enthusiastic support for the first collab, then it makes sense that Square Enix would be okay with trying it again if the first round is as successful as it appears it's going to be. Gavin also discusses how SE wanted to ensure no game got left behind. Of course, some are more beloved in the US than others, but we won't see FF7 crushing out some of the other earlier entries that didn't get a US release for longer. They won't all have the same amount of cards, but the games will all be fairly represented. There were also plenty of Final Fantasy fans at Wizards that were willing to put off their regular duties to assist in any way they were allowed to for the set. The whole deal set off in 2021 over a set of Zoom calls and turned into weekly back and forth with some of Square Enix's legendary game designers, getting their turn to express which characters were important to them to make it into the set, even some lesser known entities that had special significance. That part of the interview was most interesting to me because the game designers and quest designers probably all leave little pieces of themselves all over the games that we don't get much insight into. These weekly calls probably were sprinkled with these small requests to include that special something from a game that was so important to them. Now, there was a little bit of dodginess for trying to represent each game equally. Many of the shared characters within Final Fantasy will be designed as from a specific game. The Tonberry reveal we have is listed as being the FF5 version, but I hope they don't shoehorn just these characters with multi-game relevancy as the bulk of the games with lower representation. Gavin also reveals that the special Through the Ages cards were comprised of concept art and other items provided to them by Square Enix, which I'm a little sad to know that Amano might not have sat down to create this Dragon Amount Gold artwork specifically for a Magic card. I think it also means I need to retract my criticism of Nomura for choosing to draw Yuffie for a card when his art may also have been chosen out of the grab bag. Interestingly, they also discussed the Magic fans who are disappointed that Universes Beyond will be included in the standard format. One way Wizards hopes to encourage fans that only want more in-universe content is by widely increasing the amount of that content in additional media, specifically mentioning the upcoming Netflix series as well as upcoming movies and books. Square Enix is probably the most prolific collaborator I can think of in the video games industry, mostly driven by the mobile gacha games they have released. Each of these games is robustly tied into all other Square Enix works and many outside works as well, so the executives at SE are more than willing to do the crossovers it takes to keep a relationship alive. Unfortunately, it won't be a Tomb Raider collab, since SE sold that off recently after the heavy toll to be paid after the poor release of Marvel's Avengers. And I wonder too if Marvel having a multi-set deal from Wizards already may incentivize SE to keep coming back to the table in some form of competition after a license deal gone bad. I think that seeing the positive feelings from both sides is encouraging that the set will be good, and if it isn't good, then at least it's still going to be popular. Final Fantasy has sold somewhere around 195 million copies across the franchise, and Lord of the Rings went absolutely wild, and I'd say the two are fairly comparable. About 150 million copies of Lord of the Rings have been sold, along with fans who have only seen the movies like myself. So get ready for an absolutely bonkers release day, and the possibility that more could be on the way between the two companies. If it took them 4 years to bring this to release, we can only be certain that anything could be in the mix already. Thanks for watching everyone, see you at pre-release hopefully, and take care.